I flirted with a handsome guy on the internet, and after learning that he was younger than me, I mentioned breaking up. The next day, the colonel bully on the confession wall angrily reprimanded the scumbag, and I looked at the mosaic of the avatar and fell into deep thought. My scumbag seems to be the bully of our school. After kneeling 10 times in a row, I finally met a game master, who took the 4 of us to turn the tables against the wind. Gao Lang doesn't talk much, and he doesn't have to say technology. I shamelessly added friends. His online name is Wind. After tasting the sweetness, in order to let him take me more in the future, I tried my best to tease him. Brother, you're playing the game so well. Brother, you're awesome. Brother, you are the first person I took the initiative to ask for wishes. Remember to send me more messages? I'll be glad to hear from you. There was a faint on the opposite side. Good, at least he replied. Since then, I've been playing games with him, every day. It doesn't matter if he comes or not. Even if I'm talking nonsense, I'll find something to talk about. The book says that 21 days can form a habit, and my purpose is to get him used to having me around. Brother, do you want to play games? I hate winter. My hands are frozen when I play games. Brother, do you have cold hands? Do you want me to warm you up? Do you really miss me? But I miss you so much. Wind, are you teasing me? How could my brother feel that? Wind, that's not it. Well, I'll admit, you're the first one to get me up like that. The Wind was non-committal. How many days have we known each other? A week. I took out the scumbag girl I learned on the internet to make a sultry speech and sent a voice message. To the past, the depth of liking a person is not determined by the length of time I have known a person, and my heart is not divided into early and late. My voice was deliberately sandwiched, as sweet as it should be. Brother, are you right? There was no answer from the other side, but from that day on, he couldn't go back from the love at the beginning to the response in the following sentences. I went on the offensive. You're really different from everyone else. I'm the best thing to talk to you. One day when I went online, I found that he was in a double row with others, and I tentatively said in a coquettish tone, you cannot play games with her. My heart is sour. The opposite side is back very quickly even in the game. Wind, Wind, waiting for you. Oh, I kicked my nose in the face. But what if I just want to play games with you? I don't want anyone else. I just want you to accompany me. Brother, Wind, okay, wait for me. It didn't take long for the other side to end the fight, and I waited for his invitation. Oh my God, how can there be such a good boy? The previous cold male god is gone. I was also immersed in the sweet ambiguity. Later, he took me to the king and gave me a gold mark of Ma Chao. I was happy for a moment and boldly sent out the game couple application. He came to me and asked, what is our relationship now? I avoided answering and changed the subject. I haven't been so interested in people in a long time, but I was hurt so badly by my ex-boyfriend, that I didn't dare to talk about it. I'm actually trying to imply that he's just a game. I don't know how he understands it, but he actually said and said, okay, you're my girlfriend now. Yes. It's not buddy. How do you understand? I was about to say more, and he made a direct phone call. Baby, as if a little difficult to speak. He spoke quickly in a suppressed voice. The voice was low and charming, and my brain crashed all at once. No, he called me baby. I've teased him many times before, but he won't call. I was a little up and coming, and forced him to shout again. He finally let go. Baby, heh. Who knows? The corners of my mouth are almost behind my ears. It wasn't until the phone call was over that I regained a shred of my senses. Wait, I'm talking about it. Did he just ask to meet? I'm like, seems to have agreed. I then asked him how old he was. Wind, 19 years old. No, how much? I also have a brother, who is not confused. The problem is, I'm all of them. My brother is 20 years old. Am I an immortal cow eating tender grass? It was originally a game, but now why has it developed into an offline meeting? Why19? The brain that had just gone up suddenly cleared up completely. I typed on the keyboard to delete the hand, and the other side seemed to see that it was wrong, and added, I will be 20 after the new year. Where's you, baby? Damn, I'll be 23 after the new year. Woo woo woo, he didn't say it was okay. As soon as I said it, I started to feel guilty. A lot of things flashed through my head. I hesitated and decided to make a decision. So I broke up. And then don't wait for the other side to reply. Block and delete without hesitation. Even the game didn't fall. After doing this, I felt empty in my heart. But it can't be helped. He's too young. And if I had known his age earlier, I wouldn't have killed him. It's a pity. After a difficult night, the next day, my roommate pulled me to eat melons. It turned out that the school breeze roommate angrily scolded the scumbag girl on the confession wall, and I looked at the mosaic of the avatar and fell into deep thought. My scumbag seems to be our school bully. Knowing this fact, I was a little restless. What's going on? Even if it's the same city, why is it still the same school? I don't think I've ever given any pictures or anything like that. And the roommate is still eating melons, and eating them with relish. I didn't expect Richard Warren to look so fierce. He was still an innocent big boy. He was planted in online dating. And I heard that he didn't even go to class. When she said it, I only noticed the phrase, "looks so fierce." You've seen him. Do you have a picture of him? I can't afford to provoke me, and I can't hide when I see it. The roommate didn't think much of it, but actually found a picture of him from the school forum. It's a pity that it's a side face, a tall nose bridge, a sexy Adam's apple, and cool thin lips. Hiss, why does this picture still look handsome? The roommate nodded. He's really handsome, but he looks fierce and not easy to approach. Oh, the ferocious. Then I'll have to stay away from him. I went to see it again the next day, and the post of the school breeze roommate angrily scolding the scumbag girl was gone. I breathed a sigh of relief. He should be a freshman, and he can be regarded as my junior. I'm already in my 3rd year of college, and I'm ready to do an internship next semester. It's better to end it early, otherwise it will be a long-distance relationship sooner or later. So as not to delay him in finding a better person at school, I consoled myself with this, and gradually put it behind me. It wasn't until the basketball league that I volunteered and met a younger brother from the same community, Ben Service. It wasn't a big deal, but after he finished greeting me, he called out to the boy next to him, "Richard Warren." No, what did he call the boy next to him? Richard Warren. Isn't that the name of our school bully? My glazed gaze slowly moved to his face. It just so happened that he lowered his eyes and looked at me, without much expression. Ben Service sighed. What? You know each other? No, I don't know. I was so scared that I stammered. My head shook into a rattle, and I had nothing to do to make up for it. Isn't this name very popular on the confession wall recently? And I suddenly remembered. It's okay not to say this. As soon as he talked about this, Ben Service slapped his thigh, and said proudly, "That good roommate, who has an uneven fight is me." How can you say that Richard Warren met such a scumbag? Broke up like a cliff, and left Richard Warren crying to death. All right, Richard Warren interrupted him with a frown. I'm still going to make a face. Crying to death. Him. If only they knew that girl was me. Hiss. Let's slip away. Just as I was about to leave, Ben Service slapped me again. I thought they had found something, and jumped 3 feet in fear. Ben Service. Why are you so nervous? Richard Warren, who had been staring at me, suddenly said, "Your voice is a little familiar." He seemed to be thinking about where he had heard. No, I changed my voice a little before, in order to hook up with him. How could he still feel familiar? Could it be that I was too relaxed at times and used my own voice? Thinking about this, I really panicked. Richard Warren patted his head, as if he remembered something. I couldn't stand still. No, don't bring it like this. I deliberately raised my voice. You must be mistaken. The first time we met, Ben Service was startled. Sister Moira Pound, your throat is stuck, and your voice is like that of a big man. Oops, too much force. Just then someone came to call them. I escaped. It's so dangerous, almost exposed. I'm glad I'm witty. I watched them play with other volunteers. Richard Warren played accurately and hard, and worked very well with Ben Service. Screaming continued, but I somehow saw a hint of absent-mindedness in him. Looks like he glanced in my direction a few times. It must have been me thinking too much. During intermission, I went to give them water and towels. Ben Service grinned and leaned over. Sister Moira pound. Was I just handsome when I played? I replied perfunctorily. Handsome. Then hand the water to Richard Warren. He took it, unscrewed the lid, and drank it with his head up. Because of the closeness, I could even see his Adam's apple rolling up and down, full of sexual tension. I was dumbfounded. Ben Service leaned in without looking long, blocking his vision. Moira pound. What are you looking at? I coughed twice and looked away. He suddenly asked. Sister Moira pound. Do you have a boyfriend? In order to completely get rid of my suspicion, I gritted my teeth and said yes. That's right. Ben Service was a little disappointed. Our school, handsome or not, am I handsome? This kid is. One question does not squeak. Seeing that I couldn't answer, he took a step back. Alas, there are too few handsomes than me, so don't embarrass my sister. Is there Richard Warren handsome? Richard Warren, who had arrived suddenly, also cast his gaze. Almost, I replied vaguely. Richard Warren looked disgruntled. After hesitating for a while, he didn't say anything. The game continues. Richard Warren hit harder than he had just been. I didn't dare to look at it anymore, so I told the other volunteers that I was not feeling well and left. Because my heart is pounding because of Richard Warren. Richard Warren won. I found out about it from my roommate. Ben Service doesn't know where I got my weshit, calling me out to go out on weshit all day long. I was not interested in perfunctory words, and when I logged on to the game account, I found that a few people had added me. I ignored it, and felt bored, so I clicked out of the game. Until Ben Service says a few handsome guys will come, I replied in seconds. Tell me earlier, how many? He said 5. When I got a positive answer, I didn't forget to pull my good roommate. Hey, don't forget the men. Ben Service didn't lie to me. It's really all handsome guys. It's just that one of them looks so familiar. In a dimly lit box, I looked left and right, and walked straight to the front of the people. Richard Warren. HMM. His expression was pale. My good roommate got excited. He's the legendary school bully, Richard Warren. The one who angrily scolded the scumbag on the confession wall. Ben Service laughed. I'm the one who angrily scolds the scumbag. I tugged at Mia. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. Aside from Ben Service and Richard Warren, there were a lot of men and women who came. Everyone gathers together to eat and sing. Mia has also successfully added several male college weshit messages. She smiled happily. Good sister. Take me next time. I was expressionless, and I even wanted to cry a little. Hee. No hee. Because I didn't add any of them. Not a single one. All blocked by Richard Warren and Ben Service. One said I had a boyfriend. One said I don't like small ones. I gritted my teeth in anger. Sheet party. Without them, there would be no me. Later, I don't know who suggested playing the game. Me, okay. Then confronted Richard Warren, who seemed to be smiling. Wrong. I don't know how to play games, so I'll just watch you play. I hung up my standard smile. Ben Service debunked me. I saw a screenshot of the king star of your circle of friends last time. I grinned back and glared at him. I agreed with his friend for 3 seconds before I remembered that I hadn't blocked his friend moment. I didn't expect that. Still seen by him. Just a few seconds. It won't be discovered. I glanced at Richard Warren with a feeble look. Unexpectedly, Richard Warren said, how boring it is to play games. Or let's play something else. So someone proposed to play Truth or Dare. It was unanimously agreed. Just when I was relieved, the first unlucky guy appeared. It's me. I chose to be honest. The question is, who is the opposite sex you care about the most? Good guys. They'll play. My tongue seemed to be knotted, and I looked at the only 2 people of the opposite sex I knew. Richard Warren looked down at the wine in his glass, and I couldn't make out the look in his eyes. On the contrary, it was Ben Service, who looked expectant. Fools would dare to say Richard Warren. Isn't there no 300 Tales of Silver here? I gritted my teeth and said the name, Ben Service. He blushed with laughter. The people around immediately began to coax. In my panic, I met Richard Warren's eyes. Maybe it's because of my weak heart, I don't dare to look at him at all. Unexpectedly, this is just the beginning. The further back you go, the more the young men and women play. What, swap your shirt with the first person of the opposite sex next to you. With ice cubes in his mouth, and a confession from a member of the opposite sex on the scene. Feed a person of the opposite sex present, and so on. I slowly couldn't catch it a little, so I had to drink with my head down, until Richard Warren chose to take the big adventure, knock the other person in the corner, and look at each other affectionately for 10 seconds. Just when everyone was coaxing who he would choose, I was already a little drunk, and I suddenly had a bad premonition. Then I watched as he walked around the crowd, pulled me up, and then knocked me into the corner. It was noisy, but my world was suddenly quiet. I looked up slowly, even scrutinizing him. His Adam's apple is sexy. His nose is straight. He has long eyelashes. Until I met his gaze. He has my reflection in his eyes. It was only 10 seconds, but it felt like a long century had passed. Richard Warren's eyes burned hotter, and I felt that something was wrong. When the time came, I pushed him away, and hurriedly returned to his place. Unexpectedly, he sat directly next to me. The people around them got out of the way in understanding, but I didn't dare look at him anymore. Towards the end of the game, I was shaken again, because I couldn't drink it anymore. I chose the truth. Richard Warren suddenly said, "I'll ask." Hey. My mind was dizzy, but I looked at him anyway. His lips closed one by one. I couldn't hear what he was asking. I looked at his rosy, full lips and felt a dry throat. I really want to kiss. In the next second, I really kissed it. The world seems to have collapsed in an instant. What? You say it again. Mia never tired of repeating. You knocked Richard Warren down and kissed him. No. I buried myself in the bed and tried to digest it for 10 minutes, but I still couldn't finish it. How can I be like this when I'm drunk? It's better to know than to take a bold day. Now it's all right. So many people have witnessed my indecent assault on Richard Warren. Really, I took it, Mia reassured. But I think Richard Warren is kind of interesting to you. He didn't push you away last night. I didn't believe he was interested in me. He must have just pushed me away without reacting. Unexpectedly, Mia had the next sentence. It's you who. And there's a follow-up. Mia pondered. Spit on him. That's enough. I said enough. Destroy it. When I was hiding and not confronting Richard Warren, there is a new game friend application on the King. The devil sent me to agree. Sure enough, it was the trumpet of wind. He asked me, "It's me. Don't delete my friends yet. Why did you break up? People should know what is good when they are about to die." Right. I hesitated for a long time, although I am now slowly coming to terms with him being a few years younger than me. Can even accept that he is only a year old. However, I still couldn't accept that the person on the other side was Richard Warren. The man who shyly called me baby turned out to be Richard Warren. My mood was so complicated that I forgot to get back to him, and quit the backstage. Wait until I log into the game again. He talked to himself for a long time. Don't you want to go back to me? Do you? You don't have anything to say to me now, do you? Then why did you provoke me in the first place? Play dead. What can't you say? Shouldn't we solve problems when we encounter them? Why do you want to deal with people directly? Since you're so ruthless, then we'll do it. That's it. Will you get back to me? Not online. Hey, if you do this, I'll ignore you. All right, I surrender. Baby, baby, can you go back to me? Baby, I miss you so much. Don't break up. Okay, baby, don't you like Yaos Gold Label? I'll give you another one. Okay, baby, I must have done something wrong. Can you forgive me? Let's reconcile. I don't want to break up, woo woo woo. Baby, I can't live without you. Baby, would you like to meet me? I flipped through the chat and fell into a long silence. No, Richard Warren is too cute in private. I thought about the last time I kissed Richard Warren. I don't have any memory though. But guilt welled up in my heart. I stayed at the phrase, baby, would you like to meet me for a long time? I added back his, but he didn't agree with his run, because I'm not ready. Ben Service suddenly confessed to me. Until the bouquet appeared in front of me, I couldn't believe it. He said to me, Sister Moira Pound, I know you don't have a boyfriend, so I want to be brave for once, too. The flowers are beautiful, and so are the necklaces. But my gaze subconsciously swept behind him to Richard Warren, who handed him a bouquet. He lowered his eyebrows. as if looking at his phone. In reality, we don't have much in common. Even if I'm with other people, he didn't care either, because we're just strangers. At this time, the phone vibrated twice. It is particularly clear in the quiet environment at this moment. Richard Warren looked over suddenly. Under the street lamp, his expression was obscure. I pulled out my phone and pressed mute. It was sent by Richard Warren. Baby, I miss you so much. Can you reconcile? In front of him, Ben Service was still waiting for my answer. I held my phone and had the answer in my mind. I declined Ben Service. I don't like him. I just see him as a brother. When I went back, I didn't answer Richard Warren's question. Instead, I typed a sentence on the keyboard that I had wanted to type for a long time. Okay, let's meet. I thought he would be excited to reply to me in seconds and make an appointment for a meeting address. As a result, he replied 3 minutes later. Go downstairs. I went downstairs with a puzzled look on my face. In the dim light of the streetlights, Richard Warren strode towards me, with flowers in his hand, although there was a vague premonition. But when he really came for me, my heart seemed to pause for a second. Richard Warren had the brightest smile on his face when he saw him in those days. He stood in front of me, his eyes looking as if he didn't know where to look. I was about to speak, when he suddenly bent down and asked in a low and reserved voice, Baby, can I hold you? The hot breath hit my ears, and I could still smell the fresh laundry detergent on him. I nodded. He finally let go of his hands and feet and hugged me into his arms. All the questions I wanted to ask turned into whimpering at this moment. Without it, he held it too hard. He rubbed his head apologetically. I'm sorry, I'm too nervous. Seeing me looking at the flower in his hand, he hurriedly handed it to me again. Flowers. Sure you. There were people coming and going downstairs in the dormitory, and someone had already recognized Richard Warren and started to look at us. I pulled him to a place where no one was. Then he began to slowly interrogate him. When did you find out? Found out that I was the one who cheated on his feelings online. Richard Warren laughs. You knew it the first time we met. How did you recognize it? Voice. And the feeling. Feel. How does it feel? A bit ridiculous. But, then why do you meet me, and act like you don't know me? He touched his nose and felt a little aggrieved. You don't want me anymore. I'm afraid of exposing you. So you don't want me anymore. And, I hope you can fall in love with me in reality. We can get along slowly. But can we reconcile first? What do you mean by your reconciliation? He pulled out his couple ring, and looked at me bluntly. No breakup. I'll put it on for you if you're willing. Okay, baby. Finally, he said the word baby a little shy and nervous. Hiss. Forget it. Try it. Just give it a try. After 3 minutes together, Richard Warren took a picture of our ring-wearing hands, and posted them on Moments. I suddenly remembered that Ben Service was his roommate, but he had already sensed it, explaining, I'm playing fair with him. He lost. I'm coming. I laughed a little. If only I had just said yes to him. Richard Warren took my hand. No, baby, I know you have me in your heart. This man is strangely confident. It turned out that after he recognized me, he made it clear to Ben Service. No wonder Ben Service said he knew I didn't have a boyfriend. Richard Warren explained, I know you're on good terms, and I hope you'll choose me after you've seen other landscapes. So I gave him a chance. I bought 2 bouquets of flowers. His bundle didn't work. I knew my chance had come. No wonder he showed up downstairs in my dorm room, with flowers as soon as I sent a message. And what if I don't promise you? It's okay, I can wait. The tone is gentle but firm. Woo woo. Who's rumoring that he's a school bully? He's obviously very gentle. Okay, except that he's a little fierce. But it doesn't look fierce now. One day after we were together, Richard Warren suddenly remembered, and asked me, So baby, why did you delete me in the first place? After all, can't you hide? I blinked, and he motioned for me to continue. I told Richard Warren before that I was too badly hurt by my ex-boyfriend to talk about it. Actually, it's true. My first love was met online dating during my freshman year. He's a great gamer. The sound is also very good. He said he was a freshman in his age. I have never doubted the authenticity of this matter. Otherwise, how could he have time to chat with me and play games every day? But what I didn't expect was that he was hiding the most important thing from me. He is a high school junior. After being together for more than a month, our relationship was discovered by his parents. His grades dropped badly and he even skipped class. His parents secretly checked his phone and found out that I was the culprit. The two of them insulted me indiscriminately. They felt that I had delayed their son's great future. He also said that if their son didn't get into college, he would blame me. It's me, the vixen, who delays people. The two of them were sharp-tongued, and they didn't listen to any explanation from me at all. They just thought I was a bad spirit, but I'm also in the dark. If I had known he was a high school student, I wouldn't have provoked him at all. I was just looking for a game partner. He said he was a freshman and had time to spend with me, and he said he wanted to group, and I agreed. Later, I was blocked and deleted. There was no more contact with the man, but I have a shadow over it. Especially the boys who were younger than me expressed their affection for me, coupled with the fact that I was dating Richard Warren online at the time, and he was exactly 19 years old. I immediately remembered what happened at the beginning. I was scared. Don't dare to bet anymore. I didn't even want to hear any explanation from him. Just think I'm a scumbag. Richard Warren listened to my answer, but he was relieved and hugged me. I thought you were tired of me, but baby, the internet is terrible. You are not allowed to play games with other men on the internet in the future. They are all bad people. I'm enough. Okay. There was a bit of demagogy in the nice voice. I nodded. He jumped up happily. Baby, I love you the most. Then I went for an internship. The two of us have finally come to the step of a long-distance relationship. I thought that our relationship would fade because of this. I didn't expect Richard Warren to come and see me on weekends or when I didn't have classes. He even tried to cook for me when I was busy with work. After work, I looked at the food on the table and the apron. He couldn't be moved. Richard Warren said, to capture a woman's heart, you have to grab her stomach. I couldn't help but laugh. He urged me to try his food. I smiled and tasted it. Well, second bite. Well. Richard Warren looked expectant. My smile froze at the corners of my mouth, but I couldn't bear to hit him, and I complimented. It's delicious. Then I'll do it for you, every day. He is on summer vacation, and he can indeed cook every day. The starting point is good, but don't set off yet. I tactfully let him taste it himself. Unexpectedly, he hugged the toilet and vomited thoroughly. Me. I had to reassure him afterwards that it wasn't so exaggerated. It's just that the meat is not fried. The bottom of the pot is battered. There is too much salt, and there is too much oil. Comforted, 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 and confident again. So every day after work, I can see him with a hot meal and a smile on his face. Although the food is still not very good, it is slowly improving, at least cooked. One day when I was packing up, I saw a couple of books that Richard Warren had hidden under his bed. How to keep a girlfriend, grab her stomach, learn this little thing, let your girlfriend love you to death, male virtue, what is the best bride price for a man, how to be a virtuous man, so much so that the corners of my mouth twitched, and I opened a book at random. It reads, what are the 3 obedience and 4 virtues of a man, and there are even test papers, and Richard Warren's conscientious handwriting. It turns out that he was watching this in my absence. Didn't he say he was playing a game? This stupid. If you're willing to put your mind to me, and watch these things, not only does Richard Warren provide emotional value, but he also does great physically. But he never called me sister, but he liked to call me brother, although that's what I called it in the game at first. But when I knew his age, I couldn't shout. One shouts and one does not squeak. I feel so ashamed, but he loves to listen. No way, the younger brother who brought it himself. I can only pet myself, but my sister still has to be called. Why is he alone? I'm going to be cool too. So after I repeatedly begged him, and rewarded him with 3 kisses, Richard Warren finally spoke. Sister, heh, shout again. Richard Warren leaned in, then kiss again. Sister, well, it's okay for the rest of your life. After 4 years together, Richard Warren was afraid I was tired of him. Go to the gym every day, 8-pack abs bar. I told him not to read those books, but he still kept them well, and he still flipped through them from time to time. He said it was his love secret. That's how online dating started talking to me. Isn't online dating something I flirted with? And those sultry speeches. I can't get tired of thinking about it myself. I can't learn a little. But this idiot has been together for 4 years. Why is he still so insecure? I began to reflect on myself, until I saw his new book, How to Make Your Girlfriend Want to Marry Yourself. Chapter 1. Imply that you are insecure, and ask your girlfriend to give you a home. Me. Where did the fallacies come from? It makes quite sense. It's okay, I'll study it too. Because I really wanted to propose to Richard Warren. I suddenly remembered that he said that there is no suitable age for marriage in the world. Only the relationship that is suitable for marriage can be accomplished. Only marriage. So he was willing to wait for me, but now the stupid kid seems to be a little unable to sit still. He can't rush me, so he started figuring out how to make me want to marry him. Well, a little bit of a heart, but not much. But stupid, I'd already been willing. Since he has taken a step towards me, I will take the last step. On Richard Warren's birthday, I proposed. He was smiling profusely, but he cried like a child when he saw my engagement ring. A few years after we got married, Richard Warren and I took our daughter Sophia back to visit her alma mater, surrounded by youthful students. Richard Warren and I walked hand in hand in places we've walked so many times. Sophia was bouncing and singing in front of her. Some couples saw her cuteness and took a photo with her with our consent. Sophia is not afraid of people at all, and gives them her little clip. The girl sighed. The baby we have in the future will be so cute, right? The boy didn't hesitate, of course. You must be cute. Richard Warren and I looked at each other with a smile. It was as if I saw the people and stories in that hot youth again. End of text. Extra. Richard Warren's perspective. Recently, I met a girl playing a game. Send me inexplicable voices all day long. After a few days of acquaintance, I said something. I didn't think so, and even wanted to laugh, but she pulled me to play games, and I didn't want to refuse, because I want to see what she can send me the next day. She talks a lot. Sometimes the whole game may be her talking to herself. I slowly found out that she was quite interesting. The sound is also good. She said I was different from everyone else. Well, she's quite discerning. She said she loved talking to me the most, so no wonder she messaged me every day. In that case, I'll respond to her more. Later she sent me a game couple application. I didn't hesitate to agree. At that moment, it dawned on me, I'm on top. I'm in love with her. A netizen who has never met, but I've bound the game couple, so it should. It's a couple, too. So I went to ask her. She said she was hurt so much by her ex-boyfriend, that she didn't dare to talk about it. Translated, she didn't want to talk to me. That's not going to work. So I immediately said, okay, you're my girlfriend now. I'm afraid she's not responsible for me, because I saw all the things she said to me at the beginning on a certain video account. It reads, the scumbag is not responsible for speaking. That's not going to work. She may be a fake, but I'm a real one. So I started trying to tease her, and call her, baby. She was really useful. I said that I can learn something online. But one day, she suddenly blocked me, deleted me, and broke up. I looked through the chat history over and over again, and I cried sadly. And I didn't even have a place to reason. Trying to add her to the trumpet was unsuccessful. Woo woo, unlucky man is me. Broken online love. Reality can't find anyone. I was decadent for a long time, until I was on the basketball court. Ben Service called out to a girl. Her voice struck me inexplicably familiar. She's looking at me too. Her name is Moira Pound. I instigated Ben Service to add her Weshit friend, although I don't have her Weshit friends. But I saw it. 3 seconds. I saw the circle of friends in those 3 seconds. I'm sure, it's really her. My online dating baby. I couldn't wait to go downstairs to find her on the spot, and ask her to take her into my arms again. But I was afraid of scaring her. She seemed to be hiding from me, and she didn't want to admit that she knew me. Why? I was so depressed and annoyed. There's no reason to see her, but Ben Service can bother her openly and ask her out. I'm a little jealous. I asked Ben Service if she liked her. He actually said yes. Tut. I went straight to the point and found out my relationship with Moira Pound. Ben Service was surprised and waved his hand. But you've broken up, haven't you? And she didn't even want to admit it. Not really. She must have had a hard time. Ben Service understands what it means to sow discord. I didn't agree to break up. On truth or dare, she drank a little too much. I looked at her worriedly, but I was furious at the thought that the opposite sex she cared about the most had chosen Ben Service. She had a drink, and I followed suit. In the end, I don't know who I'm punishing. When it was my turn to go on a big adventure, I chose her. Whatever she thinks, I don't care anymore. That's when I can look at her most directly and openly. Her eyes are beautiful. The last question I asked her was, have you ever regretted breaking up with your previous one? She didn't answer, but kissed me. What is it? Here's the answer. She still likes me. She just likes me. Ben Service said she was just drunk. I don't believe it. Then why didn't she kiss others and kiss me? I know he's not going to give up, so let him try. I'm going to find out everything, although I know she definitely likes me. But Ben Service confessed to her that she didn't refuse me in the first place, and I was a little scared. I was afraid that the atmosphere was just right, and she suddenly agreed. So what am I? So I hurriedly managed her to interrupt the spell. Fortunately, she cares about me. I took another bouquet of bigger and more beautiful flowers, and circled downstairs in the girls' dormitory. I'm betting she'll come to me. Just send me a message and you're done. I gave her flowers. To my surprise, she agreed to show up. I excitedly ran around the girls' dormitory a few laps before getting back to her. So what are you waiting for? The right time, place and people. Just tonight. Right now. The end.